Hi, today I am going to discuss about the facial nerve. What is facial nerve? Facial nerve is the seventh cranial nerve and it is mixed cranial nerve. Mixed cranial nerve means it has both sensory and motor function. Okay. Facial nerve is the nerve of second branchial arch. What is branchial arch? When we were in intrauterine life, mainly five arch or branchial arch are present, and facial nerve is the nerve of the second branchial arch. Okay, we should not learn anything in facial nerve, the branchial arch, about the pharyngeal arch. We are we will study or read it in the embryological part. Okay. Then I am going to discuss the nuclei. Fibers of nerves are connected to four nuclei situated in the mainly lower pons. Okay, four nuclei. A. One motor nucleus. Two. Superior salivatory nucleus. Three. Lacrimatory nucleus. And D. Nucleus of Tractus solitarius. Okay, these are present in the pons, mainly the lower pons. Okay, from these facial nerves are come. Okay, I also discuss about the this photo. Okay, this is the main branches of the facial nerve. The motor nucleus is VE, lacrimatory and superior salivatory nucleus GVE, and the nucleus of Tractus solitarius SVA and GVA. This forms to facial nerve. From this nucleus, the facial nerves comes from the lower pons. Okay, this structure, motor nucleus, lacrimatory and the superior salivatory nucleus, and the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. From this nucleus, in the lower pons, the facial nerves are coming. Okay. Then, from the lateral surface of the pons, facial nerves comes and enters into a foramen, which is called as internal auditory meatus. Be careful. From the lateral surface of pons, from where they are coming, facial nerves comes and enter into a foramen, which is called as internal auditory meatus. Look here. This is the internal auditory meatus. This is the internal auditory meatus. This is a foramen. This is called as internal auditory meatus. From lower pons, it comes, facial nerve comes and enters into a foramen. That foramen is called as internal auditory meatus. This structure. Okay. Then the facial nerve goes to the temporal bone. We know about the temporal bone. Occipital bone, temporal bone, frontal bone, parietal bone of the skull. We know, all of us should know this. Then facial nerve goes to the temporal bone through or via the internal auditory meatus. Then facial nerve goes to the temporal bone. Okay, be careful. Via the internal auditory meatus. Okay. Inside temporal bone, middle ear and internal ear are present. We should know this. In the temporal bone, facial nerve goes to the middle ear after passing the internal ear. First of all, the facial nerve goes to the internal ear, then come to the middle ear. Be careful. First of all, after crossing the internal auditory meatus, it goes to the first internal ear, then go to the middle ear. See, be careful, not to the stapedius. This is a nerve which goes to stapedius. Where is stapedius muscle is located? It is located in the middle ear. So, after crossing or after passing the internal auditory meatus, the facial nerve goes to the internal ear and then goes to the middle ear. Okay. Okay, in temporal bone, facial nerve goes to the middle ear after passing the internal ear. In the middle ear, facial nerve first goes to the medial wall and then descend into the posterior wall of the middle ear. Okay, a foramen is present below the middle ear, which is called as stylomastoid foramen. Here's a foramen. This is internal auditory meatus, and a foramen is also present below the middle ear, which is called as stylomastoid foramen. This is stylomastoid foramen. This is internal auditory meatus. This is stylomastoid foramen. Be careful. These are located in the lower pons. From this nucleus, facial nerves are coming to the internal ear, then go to the middle ear, then they go to the foramen, which is called as stylomastoid foramen. Okay, this is also a foramen, this is also a foramen. This is middle ear, this is internal ear. This is internal ear, middle ear, and from middle ear it goes to the stylomastoid foramen. Okay. After descending from the posterior wall of the middle ear, facial nerve enter into the stylomastoid foramen, which I have discussed now. After leaving the foramen, facial nerve branches, gives nerve branches. Just after leaving the foramen, the stylomastoid foramen, facial nerve